Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. This little cafe is what I like to call the best Bible bistro on the internet, and you're welcome to come in, sit down, and join us. We're just going to do a little study today in Psalm 1. Today we're looking at, I have the sad duty actually today, of introducing the second half of Psalm 1, which is verses 4 through 6. Now today we're just going to try to cover verses 4 through 5, and I say try to because there's a lot packed in here as well. We saw how much was involved in the first 3 verses. Blessed is the man who does not walk in the way of the wicked. Well, now we're going to talk about the wicked, and so we're going to see what his way looks like. So if you'll join me, I'm going to go ahead and read my scripture. This is my translation of verses 4 and 5. Not so the wicked, but he will be like the chaff, which the wind drives asunder. Therefore, the wicked will not stand up in judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. If you have access to the internet, I hope that you'll find my-dailydose.com. That's my-dailydose.com. And you'll find my translation under the menu item that says Daily Devotions Plus. Just click on that, go to the Word. Click on that. You'll find there a link to a PDF file, and that's where my translation is. So basically 3 clicks. You click through to the translation that way. And we're looking today at verses 4 and 5, and notice that it begins just like what we had with the blessed man. In the blessed man's story, we have, blessed is the man who does not walk. And in the wicked man's story, we have verse 4, not so the wicked. So we know that it's almost like it's positive, or it's positive for the blessed man, but it's negative for the wicked man. And look how this happens. For the blessed man, the use of the does not here tells us that he's not doing something he shouldn't. He's not walking in a way that's not his. He's not walking in unrighteousness. You see, he's not in the way, he's not standing, he's not sitting. Now we come to the wicked man, and it's not so for the wicked. What's not so is the result. And the result is, like a tree, channels of water, bears his fruit on time, leaf doesn't wither, all he does prospers because he meditates in the law of the Lord. Not so for the wicked. See, they're not receiving the blessing of righteousness, neither are they experiencing the discipline of righteousness. They're not practicing it. So there's not going to be any result for them. There is no blessedness for the wicked man. Not so the wicked. And then we go straight to the similitude. Now we have a similitude in verse 3 for the blessed man. So he will be like a tree planted by the channels of water who bears his fruit on time. Not so the wicked, but he will be like the chaff. Now, you know what chaff is? Chaff is the outer hull of the wheat. Once the wheat is beaten, the outer hull and the shirt of the kernel. You know, you've got the hard outer hull, and then you've got that inner shirt that protects, that paper-thin stuff. That's chaff. Once the wheat is beaten, the chaff is blown away from the wheat. Because the wheat is heavier, it's tossed into the air, it comes straight down, but the wind carries off all that paper-thin chaff. So the righteous man, or the wicked man, is like that paper-thin chaff. The wind just drives it wherever. And the word, I've translated this, drives it asunder. The word here is to drive violently away, like a whirlwind blowing, like a tornado. If you live in the Midwest, you've experienced tornadic winds. You know what that's like. Okay, that's the idea. This chaff has no chance. Paper thin against the strength of the wind, you're not going to stand. So it's been driven asunder. Therefore, and I paused when I read that, and I want you to consider my translation here. I have therefore, and then there's that it's not an accent, but the Masoretes used it as an accent. It creates a boundary between words. You're supposed to pause. And so this is just a little straight up and down line. And I've actually, in my translation, you can go there and look at it, I've actually put a little straight up and down line between therefore and the word the, So therefore, pause. The wicked will not stand up in judgment. Well, they can't stand up because they're being blown away. Nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. They will not arise because they're nowhere to be found. Join me tomorrow. We'll conclude with verse 6 on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.